Hey everybody, I wanted first off to welcome everybody back. I know it has been hopefully for everyone a good break, and I got some rest and maybe played some sports and had an enjoyable time off. Um, so we're gonna start back, kind of trying to get everyone ready for second semester. You guys are getting ready for college applications. You're getting ready for scholarship applications. You're getting ready to go out into the workforce too. Many of you will have to work while you're in college, or maybe you're going to take some time off, work during the semester, maybe take a year off. And one of the most important things you can have when you get ready to go out into the work field, or you are going to apply for scholarships and other opportunities, is a good resume, an entry level resume, one that highlights you as an individual. So this assignment, it's not just teaching you how to do a resume, but if you do it well, you'll actually have something that you can send to college scholarships, you can send to potential employers. And for someone on the high school level, if you can have a good, clean resume, you'd be surprised at people who have been at work for 15 or 20 years who haven't really cleaned up their resume or taken time to make it look more and more professional to present them as a person. Because here's what happens, guys. For years, I hired and terminated and did all of that kind of process for a multi-specialty clinic. And while doing that, the first thing I got from people was an application. So we're going to go over how to fill out an application. You guys are going to fill out a job application for an entry level position. I'm going to post, like they would be posted on a website for an employer, a couple of job descriptions with requirements, that kind of thing. I'm going to post a couple of those, and you're going to choose one, and you're going to fill out a job application. You're going to do a resume, and and later you'll tweak your resume for this. You're going to make a cover letter related to that, and you're going to do a mock interview. So you're actually going to do an interview process like you were interviewing for that job. Some of you have had jobs. Some of you have babysat. Some of you have worked at fast food. Some of you have worked as a food handler. Some of you may have volunteered at different places, hospitals, clinics. You may have volunteered at a vet clinic. You may have volunteered at school. You may have volunteered with your church. So there's lots of things that actually can go into an entry-level resume that show that you have leadership skills. And pretty much when you're applying for a job, especially in the healthcare world, we want to know that you have some basic knowledge. So you're taking health science related classes, you're taking math, you're taking science, you're taking English, because we want to know that you can speak and write well, because you're going to have to interact with people. So I want to show you a couple of, and I apologize for that. Once again, sorry about that phone ringing. But I wanted to show you a couple of good entry-level resumes and a couple of poor resumes. And I'm going to show you some places you can find some templates for resumes, because you guys are going to spend, after you finish this video today and tomorrow, completing a resume based on, and you have to choose one of the 3 templates that I'm going to give you. Because they're good, really good entry level, high school level resumes. So if we look over here on the right, and I apologize, I can't make this bigger because this particular website won't let me, but hopefully maybe you can blow it up. Let me see if I can actually blow it up. It might let me where we can actually see it a little better. Okay, we can. So as you can tell, she's taken a resume template, and that's what this is. This is a template that she chose to put her information in. Now, this particular person is probably a college graduate, but we can tweak it to make it high school level. So if you look over here on the left, in the center, she has centered her name. Very important. We want to know who that resume is from. We need an address, because we may sometimes places mail out cards for appointments for interviews. You want an email address and a good solid phone number that you would answer, because as someone who was hiring, what I would do is I would actually pick up the phone and call that person. When I would weed through, and I'll tell you, if I just got a job application, I generally put those aside. I looked for someone who had taken time to do a job application, a resume, and a cover letter. And those were people I called first. Now you call them and you talk to them over the phone and you decide whether you actually want them to come in. And a lot of the hiring processes, especially in healthcare, start with a phone call. Sometimes they'll actually ask to Skype with you, or to use Google Hangout or some kind of media where they can actually do that. Instead of a phone interview, they're doing a phone / first time face-to-face interview. It cuts down on hire time, to be honest with you. So we do that. We either do a Skype or a Google Hangout, or we'll do a phone call interview just to talk to you, ask you a little about your resume, kind of clear some questions up we may have based on your resume. And through those phone interviews, then I would always, and most places do now, email you out a appointment time to see if, or to communicate with you to see if you could come in for an interview, for a face-to-face interview. So you want to be sure that whatever email you put on your resume is an email that you check at least once a day, preferably a couple times a day, morning, afternoon. And then you can respond back and you can coordinate, or they'll ask you to call and set up an appointment time, something like that. So if you didn't respond to me on the email, then your resume and your information just kind of went to the side, and I thought, okay, they're not really interested. So be sure, if you've applied for a job, that not only do you call and follow up, but you also check your email to make sure if you need to email follow up. So you want your information to be correct. You don't put your date of birth. Don't put a picture on your resume. I don't know how many resumes I got where someone put their Facebook profile or their Instagram picture, or something like a picture they had taken off, from their phone, a selfie. Don't put that on your resume. That's not professional at all. Plus, we're judging you based on hard information. We're not looking for we're not looking for a personal presentation at this point. This person says, gives basically a little bit of information about them, that they're a talented young professional with skills and training in. So for you, if you have volunteered at school, if you're part of Beta, if you're part of a leadership team for FFA, maybe you are on a sports team, maybe you're a talented young entry level, or you're a talented young individual with strong leadership and organization skills. Great thing to go there. And you can put what you've done leadership wise, club leader, team leader, that kind of thing. And then you would go in and talk about your highest accomplishment, that you are a highly accomplished leader for a group, that you're a team player, that you have good math, science, and computer skills, that you excel in organization, that you have a strong belief in giving back to the community. So that's what you're going to put there. And then under that, you're going to tell me some things, experience or academics that have made you a good candidate for this job, because you're selling yourself. That's what a resume is. It's about a one-page flyer that sells you to the employer. So you're going to talk about specific classes that you took. So say you're applying for an entry-level position as a front desk clerk to answer the phone in a medical clinic. So maybe you were a office aide. You were an office aide who you had good communication skills. You can put communication skills through office aide position. You can put organization skills through multifocal classes that require high-level classes, that you have strong math skills because you took upper-level math classes. Maybe you took pre-cal, maybe you took college algebra early, maybe you took on-ramps class through UT or something like that, or you took classes through PJC or through Commerce A&M, or you've taken classes that are, speech class. You've taken psychology or sociology class, or maybe you have taken higher level English classes. Those would be things that would prepare you for an entry level position to present yourself to the community. That maybe you were on the leadership team, a leadership team through one of your organizations at school where you did public presentations. I know sometime with Beta they have public speaking. Maybe you were in UIL public speaking. Those are things you would list there. Under your education, you're going to put either high school graduate or a potential high school graduate, and put the year, the day, and the month and year that you should graduate, and your current education level. So if you're a junior in high school with expected graduation of May 2020, you would put that in there. Relevant experience and employment. Here's where you're going to put information about specific things. Like if you were on the an FFA leadership team where you did it's the not the green hand, but any leadership team where you had to be the organizer, you're going to list that information. If you've had a job, you're going to list that first. The jobs that you've had, that you've been paid for, you're going to list that first. After that, you're going to put things like that you volunteered at church, that you volunteered as a community cleanup, that you volunteered with blood drives, that you volunteered with anything you volunteered with. You're going to list that there. Presentations and conferences are not relevant to you. Certifications and memberships, CPR certification, if you have received some kind of food handler certification, any kind of certification that you have received, National Honor Society, if you're a Beta Club member, if you are, maybe you received a Green Hand Award, maybe you received some kind of outstanding award, like your all state academic, or all regional academic, or all you were selected to some kind of sports, whatever. You want to list those things there. And then after that, the last thing that you're going to put on there is you're going to put a section that says references, and you're going to put references upon request. And the reason why we do that is because you're going to have 3 references. You just are for your job application. So you're going to need to ask, and I'll tell you this now so that you have time to do this, because when you do your job application, you have to have your references. You need to have a reference from a teacher. You need to have a reference if you've had a job, someone you've worked with as a work reference. No friends, no family, no grandma, no grandpa, no mom, no dad. A church member or a church leader, someone you volunteered for or volunteered with. You want someone that can talk about your skills, not someone who's just going to say, yeah, they're a good person. We're looking for someone as a healthcare professional, or as any professional hiring someone, to tell me a little about not only who you are as a person, but your skill set, that can verify your skill set. If I were to call your teacher, are they going to tell me that they had excellent citizenship, and they were hardworking, they were a leader in the class, and they were consistently on time to class, they were present? That's what we're looking for when we call about a high school student. So be sure that you have 3 good references that are not family members, not an aunt, not an uncle, not a brother, not a sister, not a friend, that we're not looking for peers. You need to, because on your job application, you're going to have that. On your on your mock interview that you will do, we're going to ask you for your references, and you're going to have to bring them in typed out. What you're going to need for your reference, you're going to need their first and last name, their address, their telephone number, and an email address. So know already that you are preparing for that you need a reference that is not a family member, that is either someone you volunteered with, volunteered for, a teacher, a community leader, a church leader, someone who can talk about you that would present you as a professional. You want to absolutely be sure that you have their name, first and last name, their address, it could be a work address, that's fine, work or home address, a valid phone number and a valid email address. Because what I'm going to ask, I'm going to send a template for a letter, and I'm going to ask your in-class proctor to send that email out to after your resume and everything has been done and your cover letter. I'm going to ask them to just forward a letter and add your name in it, and send that out to whoever, an email out to whoever you have given their email address, and ask them to please respond with some information about you. They're only going to have to add to 1 or 2 lines, but let them know that they will be contacted by your in-class proctor, because that's going to be part of your grade, them responding back. So we're getting this all together: a cover letter, a resume, a job application, a mock interview, so you know what that's about. Another reason that I do this and definitely do the mock interview, for those of you who are juniors and seniors and that you're going to be applying for not just jobs, but you're going to be applying for scholarships. Most honors colleges, you have to go in front of a panel and they ask you questions. And they're not questions you're used to. The mock interview that you're going to do, you're not going to give me information off your resume. You're not going to give your in-class facilitator and anyone else that sits in on that interview. They're going to have a set of questions that they ask you. They're just going to keep going around asking those questions, and they're going to be questions that you're not necessarily going to expect. I'll give you a few examples, but I'm not going to give you the questions, because in a true interview situation, we don't do that. You don't have those questions in advance. So same thing in a scholarship, with good big money scholarships. They are going to have you come in. They're going to give their money to someone. If they're going to give $5,000 or $10,000 or $15,000, or they're going to give you a free college or an honors college scholarship, they're going to make sure when you come in, you present yourself well, you're well spoken, and that they feel like that you are someone who can complete that education, and who's going to be there, and who's going to utilize it to the best of their ability. Those honors college people, those Regent scholars, those people who get provost scholarships and things like that, they become ambassadors for the community, for the college. So, they're looking for someone who is going to present the school in a positive manner. Okay, so that kind of explains that. I'm going to post several other appropriate, good resumes. And then I'm going to give you 3 templates. Those templates, all you have to do, because they're going to be in Google Docs, all you have to do is make a copy. So you'll open it up, make a copy of the one you choose to use, but you have to choose one of the 3 templates that are in Google Docs. The examples will be a PDF file, okay? If you guys have questions, be sure you email me. Your resume, the time that you work on your resume, so you're going to have the rest of today and tomorrow to work on your resume. It's going to be due on Monday. You're going to have a couple days. We're going to talk about cover letters. I'm going to give you some examples of cover letters, good cover letters, and you're going to go ahead and make a cover letter. You're going to have a video like this with some examples, and then you're going to have a day and a half to make a cover letter. Your resume and your cover letter together will be a test grade. You're going to fill out a job application based on your resume. That's going to be a daily grade. You're going to get a daily grade for working on your job application. Working on your resume and your cover letter. The days that you're working on those. You're going to get a test grade for your mock interview. And I'll give you some more requirements for that. You're going to have to dress professionally, which means it doesn't mean you have to go buy something new to wear. It just means that you have put a little effort into your appearance. That you have fixed your hair, that you have put on clean, good, nice clothes, that if it's jeans, they're nice jeans with no holes in them. But preferably dress pants or nice pants or dark pants, not necessarily denim. You've put on a nice shirt. It's not just a t-shirt that has some kind of logo on the front of it, that you put a little effort into your appearance. That will be part of your grade for that interview. Anyway, so that's kind of it for today on your resume. Please look at the good other examples of a good resume to help you get through that portion and choose a good template and be working on that, you have the rest of today and tomorrow, and it will be due on Monday. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.